Hey guys, Mitch with Lovely Jubbly Barbecue here, giving you my first video for my YouTube channel. And today we're doing Wagyu Brisket Burnt Ends. This brisket is the point from the brisket I cooked at my last competition. Decided to save it. Rather than give it to a bunch of people I don't know, figured I'd keep it for myself and show you guys what I'm gonna do with it. Let's get to it. So we're gonna start here by trimming it down. We got a lot of this thicker fat here that's not exactly gonna render. So we're gonna trim that off a little bit. And that way we'll be able to get some nice penetration of the rub in the meat too. I also want to kind of square it up so it cooks a bit more evenly as well. And then finally, we're just going to kind of butterfly it a little bit. We're going to open it up, make it nice and even and flat to cook on. So this is a Snake River Farms 15-pound gold grade Wagyu brisket that this came off of. Now that we've got this opened up and trimmed down to where I want it, maybe get some of this thicker fat off of there still. There we go. And we're gonna hit it really nicely with a nice layer of my Lovely Jubbly Barbecue, the everything seasoning. Great all-purpose seasoning that's gonna make this beef shine. This is a nice salt, pepper, garlic blend. Really going to enhance the flavor of the beef without overpowering it. I want to leave a little bit of this fat on there to kind of help protect the meat a little bit, but also fat is flavor. As it renders, it's just going to come out even better. And we're going to be cooking this on my Oklahoma Joe's Bronco drum smoker right over here. Be cooking it right at about 250 degrees. We got my friends at the Good Charcoal Company in there, along with some Smoky Woods barbecue post oak wood chunks. All right, now that we've got the brisket rubbed and trimmed, we're gonna get it over onto the smoker here, onto the drum, about 250 degrees until it hits about 160, 165 degrees internal. Then we'll wrap it. Once it hits about 205, we'll pull it off, we'll get it cut up into the burnt ends, and then we'll start making that meat candy that everybody loves. Let's get it on the pit. Put it center right on the grate here. It's nice Wagyu, just beautiful piece of meat. As you can see, all this fat marbling in there. That's all just gonna make it taste even better. All right, so as you can see, we're sitting at about 246, 248 on the smoker. We've been about an hour and a half in now. We're just gonna temp the brisket point and see where we're at. As you can see, we've got this really nice deep red color coming from that oak smoke. So we're sitting 142 here, using my Inkbird instant read thermometer. About 133 on this side. Listen to that sizzle, y'all. Let's get ready to make some burnt ends. All right, let's see how this thing is looking. Sitting at about 170 right here on this flat. Yeah, 163 on that side. With that, and just based on how pretty this color is, we're gonna get this baby wrapped. So we're just gonna put it in a tray here. Close the lid. Once we get it in the tray, I got some OXO beef bouillon. We're gonna dump in the tray here just to add some moisture, and then it's also gonna help reinforce that beef flavor, which brisket should absolutely have.
Where's the OXO come from?
OXO comes from England, just like I did. All right, now we want to get this tray sealed up nice and tight with some aluminum foil. We are nice and tight. And we're just going to periodically check this till it hits about 200, and then we'll start looking for what we call probe tenderness. We'll get into more of that later. Got the tray in the smoker, back on at 250. That's it. Time to let it wrap. All right, we are just at the point now where this brisket is about as tender as it's gonna get. We'll just take the foil off here. We want it really probe tender all around this entire brisket. And this thing is, I mean, you could puncture this thing with a finger. As you can see, we're sitting about 204, 205, which is that perfect range that I wanted at. Now we're gonna pull it off. We're gonna leave it on the cutting board, and we'll get making some burnt ends. Let's do it. Just gonna transfer it over to our cutting board here. There we are. Look at the color on this thing. You already know it's tender. You know it's good. I just wish you all could smell it. Let's make some burnt ends. All right, so we've been letting this brisket point sit out here for about 10 to 15 minutes just here on the cutting board. I want it to make sure that it cools down a little bit from that high temperature that it was when it came off the pit. When we cut it, it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to start falling apart. So if we let it cool down a little bit, it'll kind of tighten up just a touch, and that'll make it easier to cut. So now we're going to cut it into 1-inch strips, and then we'll cut it down into cubes from there. Let's get her done. All right. Now we're just going to turn the cutting board, and we'll start cutting these strips out just into our chunks. Oh, these middle parts are so soft. All right, now just hold one of these up. I mean, you can see that smoke ring, you can see all that juice in there. It's just how soft. You see a little bit of that fat that still is gonna render. Now we're gonna get these tossed back in the rub, our lovely jubbly barbecue, the everything seasoning. Get these tossed back in there and get some more rub on there. Then we'll get the brown sugar on. All right. Bring our tray over. Get them kind of tossed, get them evenly coated. Give them another dash of rub here. And then we're going to transfer them into our aluminum tray here. We're going to hit them with the rest of everything else, get them back on the pit. All right. Now they're on our tray. Now we're back in our tray here. We're going to get the brown sugar on them. So Kansas City burnt ends traditionally are a little bit on the sweeter side. This part about adding the brown sugar on it, if you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. You know, make this recipe your own. Now we got the brown sugar on. Give it a nice squirt of some barbecue sauce here. We're using the Blues Hog Smoky Mountain barbecue sauce today. Goes really well with beef. Get all this tossed in this beautiful sauce and sugar recipe here. We're not trying to we're just trying to get a nice even coat of barbecue sauce on these burnt ends. We don't want to end up saturating them and have them kind of swimming in it, simply because they're just not going to take on the smoke if they're full of sauce. So here you go. Here's the burnt ends. Let's get them back on the pit for about another hour, staying at 250. And we'll see you when we're done, y'all. All right, everybody, it is time. Let's see how these babies look. Oh, look at that. They're perfectly squishy and juicy. Oh, let's get these out. Let's get these taken care of. I can't wait any longer. All right, get them out of the pan here, onto the cutting board. All right. I'll let you look at these while we just do a quick recap of what we've done today. So we had a Wagyu brisket point that we ended up putting on our drum smoker at 250 degrees. Got it taken up to about 205 degrees, and we finally pulled it off. Let it sit on the cutting board here for about 10-15 minutes, just to kind of let it tighten up and cool down a little bit. Then we cut it up into our cubes, We covered it in more of the everything rub, brown sugar, and the Blues Hog Smoky Mountain barbecue sauce. Put them back on the smoker for about another hour or so. And that's where we're at right now. You know what's left. There's only one thing left to do. Let's get these tested. This one right here. You can see all that beautiful juice on there. Just see how soft it is. Let's do it. They're sweet with that brown sugar, savory with that rub. That oak smoke isn't too overpowering. These are absolutely to die for. You guys need to make yourself some of these. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. We've got a blog that we'll have this recipe on. We'll talk about a little bit more about the cook. Keep in touch, y'all. We'll be here. Lovely jubbly.